Hi, everybody. My name is Neil Thompson. I am the founder of Teach the Geek. It's an online platform for science and engineering professionals. The first offering of the platform is a public speaking course called Teach the Geek to Speak. To learn more about it, you can go to teachthegeek.com. Again, that is teachthegeek.com. Today, this is the first time I'm having a guest back, and his name is Jared Arms. He is the founder of Kylar.io. And I actually met Jared. Well, I know of Jared because of last year's Blacks in Tech conference. He actually spoke on blacks and using cryptocurrency with the black dollar. To this day, I still don't really understand what cryptocurrency is, but that's another subject. Anyway, with regards to what we talked about last time, of course, we spoke about Kylar, and then one of his initiatives that he had going on was trying to promote or decrease gun violence and promote STEM in the black community. But today, I'm sure there's other initiatives that he has going on, and I'm really interested to find out more about them. And also, Nick Suell is on the line too, and we'll be speaking with her as well. So, welcome to both of you.
Thank you for having us on.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, for those of us those of people that are watching or listening that didn't listen or didn't see our last conversation, could you just go on a bit about what Kylar.io is?
Yeah, so just growing up like in St. Louis, just dealing with a few unfortunate events. Lost a few friends I grew up in high school with due to gun violence, and that led me in my early 20s to create like this Android memorial just to try to commemorate the loss of some of my friends and family members that died by gun violence. So just like maybe around 2014, actually, like a month prior to the death of Mike Brown, I launched this program called the Collar.io for Kids program, really trying to decrease gun violence by teaching students in underserved areas how to develop websites, build mobile apps, just all of that good stuff around STEM. And then from then, like a lot of things grew. I ended up turning into a company called Collar.io. At first, it was just called like the Kyler Project. 2016, I ended up registering as a LLC, and then from that, we just connected with like more corporate partners and things like that. So currently, as of today, we have services such as STEM education, still focusing on that. We focus on mental health therapy, partnering with licensed clinical social workers. But like you were saying earlier, we also into cryptocurrency and blockchain, game development now, event planning, public speaking, and all of that great stuff. We just taken another step too into these domains, which is something I'll be talking about today. So that's kind of like a quick little wrap in a nutshell. And then of course people can visit www.kyler.io for more information. I have all my YouTube interviews up, my bio and things like that. And as you know, I'm a conversationalist, so if anyone want to reach out and communicate, you can reach me out to me on social media, and I'll just share more. But yeah, but at this point now, I'm trying to just focus on just using like my influence and things like that to, just try to make more positive changes.
Yeah, that sounds great. I know you
Yeah.
mentioned about public speaking. What type of topics do you typically talk about?
Yeah, so great question actually. So depends on the audience. Sometimes I get invited to speak at colleges. So on that type of stuff, it may be around like entrepreneurship, some of the challenges, some of my key points for as like me being successful and things like that. I also speak with some of the younger teenagers that's locked up like in youth detention here in St. Louis at the Clayton County Court System. So when I'm speaking with them, it's more about like decision making, like sometimes like the sometimes like different like timelines of history, of course still technology and things like that. And then when I'm talking more to like corporations, usually we doing some type of like IT consultant. Well, but recently for like the last year, I've just been speaking with companies more so about like diversity and inclusion and how they can use blockchain and cryptocurrency to have more crypto transactions with their clients.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. When it comes to talking to children about tech, especially ones that aren't well represented in the tech industry currently, do you find it difficult to try to kind of convince them that tech or STEM is for them as well?
Oh yeah, and Nick, you could piggyback off this that might probably be great. So I just to kind of start it real quick. I know we got stuff. Um, it's like it's like two different groups. So it's like one group of like you got the high potential students who we focus on, then you got like the at-risk students. So it's like with the ones who like taking the step and say like getting locked up in juvenile or something, what's like different for them is like, okay, you not every student not doing things like nobody trying to get locked up. Some of these young girls going through some real things, the young fellas too, and just getting caught up. Some of the little knuckleheads that just making decisions that's not they don't have to do all of that. When they make those decisions and don't listen to the positive folks around them, no matter what their skill set is, you came all the way to juvenile and you still getting blessed to be around people like myself and others that's telling you about doing positive things. So what is it telling you aside from going to the grave? So I usually try to connect with people that really can have those like that reach back into them real underserved areas. But then St. Louis is just one city. When I'm trying to expand and take this to like Atlanta, LA, New York, and things like that, that's a whole different like ball game because I don't know like the land like that. And connecting with people like Nick and stuff like that, who's actually like from LA, and it's a whole different area out there as far as like problems and stuff that we really not, scared of. So we trying to help our brothers and sisters. We ain't really looking at them like criminals and like young gang bangers and all that type of stuff. So if you could speak on that too, Nick, just about, because I know she didn't, grew up and seen some things like that, and it's like she's trying to do the same thing I'm doing, but we're working together now, and it's like trying to do it in two different cities and bring it together. It's like, a little challenging at times and stuff, but they own it though. They all own it. They listen. When I spoke it in one more thing, I'm sorry, Nick. When I spoke at this stuff that they say that I think be cool just to kind of point out, it ain't really nothing I'm putting on Facebook for no cool points, but Sylvester Hurl, one of the program directors at the Juvenile Center that I'm working with, when I went out there for the first time last year just to introduce myself, and of course, unlike a school, there's always different groups of students when I go back unless they're in there for a long time. So the group I had met for the first time, I spoke for about 30 minutes, and he said that was like one of the first times he's seen like the young girls and boys that quiet for the whole time, and they had a lot of people come in there who got big companies and big money and all that type of stuff. So that'd be kind of cool when you can reach them and things like that and have their attention, but it's like only for so long, you know what I'm saying, before they get back into the other stuff. All right, my bad, Nick.
Did you have anything to add to that, Nick?
It looked like it kind of it froze up a bit. I don't see Nick.
Yeah. Okay, it does look like it froze up. Okay, hopefully she gets back in with us.
Gotcha. So, okay.
Yeah, we'll see. But the reason I asked that question is because last year actually, I wrote a children's book, and the book's about my nephew asking me why his hair is the way it is, and I use science to answer the question. And the main reason I wrote the book is to have kids around the age of 5 to 8 have that confidence to know that there aren't any what's the word I'm looking for, careers that are off limits to them. Because I firmly believe that the younger you are, if you have that confidence, it's going to be a lot more difficult to push you off any kind of path you want to be on as you get older. And not only that, with STEM, you kind of have to, it's best to try to prepare for it as early as possible, because oftentimes if you get to high school and it's like, now I want to study engineering or whatever it is, whatever STEM field it is in school, it's going to be a lot more difficult because you don't have that, I guess, that background, that foundation to push forward in that field. So please go ahead.
No, I was going to say I just was speaking to someone about that briefly yesterday about having a foundation and really trying to connect with the younger girls as early as possible. The youngest I've worked with some is like we've had students around workshops that was like age 4, just kind of still listening to things, but not necessarily that I was teaching. But my youngest has been probably age 6, and they get it, you know what I'm saying? They get it, and that self-esteem is important, like you said, especially as they get older. They may start dealing with like the wrong people who may try to break them down. So to be able to have like that in the back corner, that is good. I just said that to somebody yesterday. So that self-esteem is everything. Like I see a lot of people dress good, fly to this place, got this connection, but it's like there's like that one little thing that'll make their eyes go down, or they'll go all the way up to the highest level to try to raise this funding for pitching. As soon as they get in front of the big investors, act like money not nothing. You know what I'm saying? It just be all these little weird last minute things because of self-esteem issues. So yeah, that's important. Yeah, and they tell me to cut my hair all the time. They just told me to cut my hair, learn how to talk more white, cover up my tattoos and stuff.
what do they call that? Code switching, something like that.
Yeah.
I only learned that term, I think, either this year or last year. I had no clue what people were talking about when they were talking about code switching, because I was actually mentioning this to a friend pretty recently, maybe the last month or so. I just thinking about all the jobs I've ever had. I'm not sure I've ever done that code switch per se. I think I've been pretty much been the same person, outside the job and inside the job, and it wouldn't even occur to me to act differently around others. It's just I am who I am. You're cool with it, cool. If you're not, then I guess I gotta find someplace else to be.
Yeah,
but hey, maybe I'm not self-aware that way. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong completely. Maybe people.
In the tech space, it is different too for us. Sometimes when I step, there's a few little jobs I've taken here and there where I've just noticed, like, I go here on the first day and they're like, oh, we got a cotton head N word here. And I'm like, oh, snap. So I go try to tell the supervisor or something like that. Like, hey, they just called me a cotton head N word. And the supervisor say something like, what, you coming here to cry work? So sometimes you just like, let me, I ain't about to get caught up in this crazy junk, have my blood pressure up. But like with the technology and stuff, they just, as long as you can code work sometimes, they, everything good. In a good way too. I think that technology bring a lot of people together.
Yeah, no doubt. And then, so, I guess the main reason we want to talk today is you got some new stuff that's going on. So let us know about that.
Oh yeah. And when Nick, whenever this gets back in, Nick can update us with some cool things too. But yeah, man. So last time since we talked, been a lot of great stuff happening and stuff. Of course, I've been putting everything up on LinkedIn, Facebook. Earlier this year in January, I got invited to speak at the Washington Elite Blockchain Summit in DC, and was the winner for the Global Boost cryptocurrency startup pitch. So that was great. Got to compete with some serious competitors in the crypto field. So that was real good to win that one. Man, it's been a gang of stuff. I've been sharing all type of stuff on social media, but the most recent thing I've been doing that I'm excited to talk about. Well, I can't not say this. We had our first conference at College.io this past July, partnered up with St. Louis University, partnered up with corporations such as IBM, Clayco, had Dan Lester, Jesse Sanders is the director of IT and the director of the Diversity and Inclusion Department at Clayco Corporation, which is a construction development company based here in Missouri. Of course, we know about IBM. We had the CTO and CTL at IBM, Ed, come out and speak doing the keynote called Thinking Blockchain. It was real awesome. Block from Bridgeton, the whole franchise came out. It was a lot of companies. We had at least about a good 20 companies come out. So that was real awesome this past July. It was a 3-day conference. Other partners such as Hazelwood School District, DK Solutions, just to name a few of them out. And it was pretty awesome. We had Blocks was come out, St. Louis County Police Department. We had an officer from Clayton Police Department come out to help us with our game jam session, where we had like a nonviolent video game jam workshop. Snow Cone Trucks was also, I can't just skip over that because that was big. But from that, we connected, of course, with like more people and just expanded some of our like agendas. So as of now, we got this new project called Korean Domains. It's a company called VeriSign ended up acquiring the domains like the .coms, .nets, and all of those TLDs early in 2000s. So they ended up releasing 11 more .coms in different languages. The top 2 languages that's being acquired the most is the Korean .com and the Chinese .com. So we just did some nice research, ended up making some nice deals, and we got some opportunities to take to own some nice domains. So it's this website called mostexpensivedomain.com that gives a list of the top 250 domains ever purchased. I think it's like recently updated. So they got some big ones on there. Like I forgot the most recent one, but it was pretty huge for like $400 million a domain got bought for, and they got them all up on there. So they pretty recent, but some of the top 20 out of that 250 we end up getting ownership of, and we got like LasVegas.com was acquired for over $50 million. You got things like PrivateJet.com. PrivateJet.com acquired for over $50 million. Las Vegas for about $30 million. Things like Insurance.com, Insured.com, Rentals.com, and those kind of considered EDMs for people because we are tech nerds. But for the folks who don't know, of course, Teach the Geek, so I gotta teach them stuff. So for the EDMs consider exact domain matches. So when a person say, let's say if a person just Googling the word restaurants, and then we got like a website called restaurants.com, that would be considered an EDM, and those like real high in value. So we have over 100 new domains that we'll be launching in 2020 just throughout the year, not all in January. Basically, and that would be called like Khaled.io web services. So we'll be launching restaurants.com, trauma.com, kids.com, humantrafficking.com, rentals.com, homes.com. It'll be a lot of great services. And we have all of these domains listed right now on KoreanDomains.com. So a few of them that we've been focusing on right now are things like lifeinsurance.com, and we'll be launching that website actually this weekend just because we're starting to have more agents come on board. And one thing that's important for myself is that I had end up losing a lot of friends and things like that, but that's like one situation. When I started losing like family members, when it started to affect us in a financial way, of course your friends do too, but me being younger, they families was dealing with that like on a bigger scale, aside from us just trying to help how we can. But now that I'm older, my grandparents, they passed. My grandmother died last year. My grandfather passed earlier this year, like a week after my conference. And she didn't have life insurance, and there was a lot of people that was like trying to tell me about it, just as like, and I'm just so busy trying to do things like, no, I get my own bag and take care of it and stuff like that. And it was a little challenge just trying to scrape up the few little money and things like that for a funeral. And we ended up doing it thanks to God. But after that, I was like, you know what, this is pretty serious. And then my grandfather was telling me too before he passed, like, look, ain't nothing coming to you. This is just what it is type stuff. So I'm like, all right. He made a lot of money. He was a smart man, but just the ignorance and things like that, it just didn't make sense sometimes just to not have a plan like that. So I figured, I said, oh no, let us get these new .coms in Korean. Let's go after the Korean population, but also teach other people that they can use these new links. And for an example, when we launched lifeinsurance.com, like when you go to lifeinsurance.com right now, it goes just to like one life insurance company. They just redirect the URL. But when people use our domain, they'll be able to go to like a central platform where they can select different agents and kind of select, as right now to just be like a directory of agents. But as it continues to grow, they'll be able to search by state, location, language, and things like that. And this LA right now has the highest population of the Korean population right now throughout the states, and then New York following that. So it's only 57% of Americans right now that got life insurance policies. Last year, life insurance made over $900 billion. So it's, of course, a very lucrative industry to be in, but we need to increase that number from 57 possibly to 100. And out that 57, African-American population real low. So, again, just making sure that, people had the .com for us just because we speak English, so we want to make sure like we cater to like the Korean population. And since VeriSign released this .com in Korean as well as in Chinese is a whole different conversation, but starting with Korean right now, it's like it's a well-trusted extension to use. And it's a reason why they released it too, because it's just like, it's a demanding market with that. So Nick, you can piggyback and just speak more about like your background, what you're doing, and like how we plan to expand this, just these Korean domains. Of course, starting in LA, a little bit of what you did this morning, just kind of reaching out to some of these agents, and then I kind of bring it back too on, just the next, how we, all the international stuff, whatever you want to share real quick.
Definitely, for sure. Thanks for actually.
And not real quick, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on, and sorry for the tech malfunction in my office. Something's going on. Needless to say, things are good. But as Jared said, I mean, the work I'm doing with Jared, with Khaled.io is coming on and help lead strategic vision, and looking at really amazing partnerships to expand the work that he's doing, the communities and the countries that he's serving, as well as the markets. And so, one of the things that, as Jared said, being able to expand the Korean web, and I think since we're in the time socially that partnering with other communities around resources that sometimes communities that go underserved, I think is incredibly important. I think another thing, I think one of the skills that I really admire about Jared is that he is very focused on serving Black and brown people. But he has a quality about himself that reaches beyond just our own communities, which actually in turn serves us expand our own communities. And so I think when he mentioned to me that he had this opportunity to sort of help expand the web, I thought this makes a lot of sense for multiple different reasons. And I think also too, there's so many companies and communities that could benefit, both ours, theirs. And I think with the resources that Jared's pulling together to develop something that has access for everybody, I think is something that is lacking just in our society, and also sometimes in tech industry. I think that, the work that he's doing, even though it may seem like it's very centered on just insurance, it covers a lot of different venues as far as diversity and inclusion. I think issues around gender and trafficking, people being able to have a central location to access resources. I think that's something that's really, really huge. I know here in Los Angeles, we do have a very robust Korean population. And I think, and also too, another thing too, LA is really huge. We have a really large international student population as well. And so when international students are coming from home, wherever home may be, one of their challenges is actually insurance here in the States. And so it also, this project even sort of expands into the college life. And so I forget the exact percentage, but I believe our international student rate is somewhere upwards of about 62%. And that's saying a lot. And that's also saying a lot about the people that are having difficulties navigating, trying to find translators to help them suss out services that is native to them in their native tongue. So I think it's amazing. I think it's great. I'm super excited about, pulling resources of people and business associates that I know and connecting them with Kyler as well. So I think it's going to be great. I think one of the things too that Jared mentioned, and I don't want to be a broken record, but I think this is actually a really great opportunity for companies that primarily market simply in English. This gives them access to an entirely different community, and also a potentially a really diverse market. And so I think there's so much opportunity, but I think part of it is people understanding the value in it, and understanding that you can also reach people with your products or services, but in a native language. And so I think that's really huge, especially when companies are having difficult times expanding and scaling their businesses. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it, and things are off to an amazing start. So,
wow. I just think it's so interesting that it's two Black people talking about, a Korean website.
It's crazy because I actually speak some Korean, which is really funny.
Oh, really? Okay.
Just a little bit. I do.
Oh, wow. I'm sure when you start that with Korean people, they probably look at you all crying crazy.
All the time.
That's hilarious. Like, you can't talk shit about me around when I'm around. I don't know what's on. That's fun. Hey, Jared, you mentioned something about a conference that happened back in July. Is that right? So
yes,
with that conference, were you actually a presenter at the conference?
Yeah, so it was my conference for our company. It was called the Kyler.io Blockchain Conference. So I actually didn't present, even though it was mine. I tried to stay out the way this time, but I structured everything up. So it was a 3-day conference. It was a 8-hour conference each 3 days, like a real job, 9 to 5. So yeah, I didn't speak, but one thing that I kind of presented was like an airdrop demo to a lot of pretty much to all of the companies with the new cryptocurrency that me and my partners have called the Global Boost Coin. And it's an SMS cryptocurrency that you can exchange and like check your wallet and send payments just all using text messages, not connected to like any central servers or anything. So that was something that I wanted to introduce to people, and then having different organizations. Like I had people from like the St. Louis Public Health Department there, the Juvenile Center, down to the St. Louis Public School Districts, to breast cancer organizations. So I had kind of organized them all, and like day 1 was about tech, day 2 was for community, and day 3 was entrepreneurship. So I kind of had it themed around that. And then I had like things running concurrent with each other. So it was like speakers in one room, lunch going in this room, officers and the students in that area, things over here. So, it was kind of something for everybody to mix and mingle with. I wanted to speak, but I felt selfish on doing it, so I just like stayed in the background. I was busy like the entire 3 days, like still doing other little managerial work, making sure everything go right. And that was the first time where I had something going on where I wasn't just like the main speaker, or where basically something could happen where I couldn't see it basically because I had to go to different buildings and stuff. So just having everything like planned ahead of time and things like that, just down to security, having all of that stuff for the first one was pretty big. But the main thing I presented to everyone overall was just like the new airdrop crypto demo that we had.
Okay. So for the presentations that you did or you were able to see, for the people that did well, what did they do that was so great? What did they do well in their presentations? And for the people that potentially couldn't improve, what were the things that they could improve on?
Yeah. So we had a lot of great things. I would say just kind of off the tops, like, and every single speaker did awesome. So you know how like usually when a person see a video and they get some shout outs and they're like, why didn't they say nothing about me? So I know they don't say something. But I'm gonna just say 2 people on each one just to keep it brief because I had over 25 speakers. So I would say, man. All right, to start it off, I had a guy from IC Jennings speak. He's one of the top black diamond sellers for IC Jennings, which is like one of the world's, I guess like energy / like healthcare products. They focus in on like global resources more than just like organic resources. So they got some pretty good things. And I wanted to have him speak first just so people could understand the importance. Of course, health is wealth. And he did very awesome. So things like that was important aside from just talking about money and technology for like the first one. The director of Clayco, they focus on like smart cities, built like infrastructure and like foundations for big corporations such as Express Scripts and things like that. I had 2 directors from Clayco come and speak, Dan Lester and Jesse Sanders. On the technical side, Jesse Sanders is the director of IT, and both of these guys are African American brothers. So to have the director of IT from Clayco, which is got a lot of say in Missouri and of course around different areas, it's good to have him in because on the tech side, you know, it's just easy to have diversity and inclusion. You know where I'm going with that. And then on the diversity and inclusion side, to have Dan Lester in that, as far as like recruitment, corporate expectations, and hiring and all of that good stuff. It was good to have them come on board. So Dan Lester, he came and spoke about corporate expectations. Jesse Sanders did a nice keynote called Servant Leadership. So I would say those, I guess 3 did some great things. And again, I could talk about everybody doing great things. On another side, I would start off with saying myself, I could have done a lot of things more, a lot better than what I've done just as like the founder and CEO, and of course as like the person who run the event. So like I didn't do background checks on everyone initially when I first started the conference and planning and things like that. And there was a lot of intellect that was being shared that I later down the road had to kind of get people out the way that cost me some time and money. I had and this just comes with territory and stuff, but this was the first year where I had somebody try to come and like fake sue me and thought they was going to try to extort me for some little money, and that didn't work. But me learning that I had to actually respond, had to have like an actual, you know, lawyer or attorney respond, that cost time and money and just stress too. Those things. I had people drive from Texas, so I had the founder and CEO of Hash and Systems, Pablo. He came up from Texas. We had Thomas Wildtower, the guy who won the for Systems and Technology last year for the Bitcoin. He drove from Minnesota. So this time I had people coming in out the States. And, you know, I got people, you know, a lot of these people got like good salaries and real, some very like unique, special people. So I wanted to make sure not only did I want to have officers there to humanize the community, but I wanted to really have some serious security there when I had a lot of these people involved. But I think everybody did great. I think really it was just me really not like planning the best I could have. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't have, like I had 300 attendees signed up, but I ain't have no more than maybe like 30 to 40 attendees show for all 3 days. All of my speakers came except for like 2 or 4 of them, and they let me know like a day or 2 that they weren't gonna be able to make it, but my attendees wasn't big like that. So I already know all of these connections and stuff, but the community was what I was trying to do it for. But now I'm starting to do things more digital, I ain't gonna lie, because I've been like traveling a little bit more, And I'm starting to notice that my fan base is really more like online, my following. The students, you know, that's one thing, but far as like the adults and like the parents and all these employees where I'm trying to get out that mentality and get out the house, get off the plantation and keep it going, they weren't trying to hear no blockchain and all of this type of stuff like that. So now I got when I launched these domains, like I got watch.com for an example, that's another one. In a positive way, I'm gonna try to go out to like compete with YouTube and Netflix and stuff like that. And it's like when we start launching videos, movies, if you want to watch whatever, just go on watch.com. So it's gonna be kind of easy to market that. And I think when I start marketing content to people that they more interested in, it's like then they'll start engaging with the platform a lot more, and then we can still kind of connect with them in different ways. So I ain't finna stop. But everybody did great. I think it was really me overall and stuff, because I didn't connect with the community as much as I did with the corporations this year. How I did the past years, and it showed a lot. And them corporations know I ain't trying to, you know what I'm saying? They know what I'm about.
Yeah, you know, I commend you for putting on a conference at all. You know, it's quite an undertaking in 3 days, 8 hours a day. That's a lot of work. And the fact that you did it, and hey, the fact that you did it, oh, hats off to you. You know, there's a lot of people out here that talk about, you know, all the things they're going to do, but then they don't end up doing anything. It's all talk and no action. So you know, kudos to you for sure. So,
right on, man.
Yeah, man. So this basically, you know, this marks the end, I guess. You know, Jared or Nick, do you have anything else that you'd like to share that you'd like people to know about?
Yeah, Nick, if you could speak briefly just about some of like the upcoming projects that we have internationally coming up, and you know, I think that'd be great to close. And I'll say one more thing after Nick briefly, and then we'll be done.
All right.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, and I know that I came on slightly late with the internet connection, so I'm not for sure if Jared shared or not. But I mean, you know, being able to have people in my professional circle like Jared gives me the opportunity to take on larger projects internationally. So one of my really good friends from Berklee College of Music, where I went for undergrad, Kendra Parker, is leading an initiative based out in Ghana that is helping to develop essentially a digital tech incubator for an organization called My Girl Pride. Initially, she and I just talking, sort of reconnecting, and mentioned that she had this project she was working on and how they were in need of particular services. And I said, well, you know, what are some of the things that you guys need? Maybe through either business partners or corporate sponsorship, I can help you guys sort of find what you need. And one of the things she had said to me was, oh, you know, we have an instructor, we have the material. One of the things that we need are additional computers, but more than that, we need internet. And I said, well, you know, how much is it? And she shared it was a minimal fee. I mean, what we pay here in the States for, you know, 2 months worth of cell phone coverage, you know, would provide 6 months of high speed. It's relative, obviously, high speed, but, you know, high speed internet access in Ghana. And I said, are you kidding me? And so I initially reached out to a bunch of my colleagues in different companies, different parts of the U.S. and was like, hey, I have this project that I'm now partnering on. You know, we should come on board and make sure that we can support these, you know, this group at least for the next 3 to 5 years. And then while that's going on, look at sustainable models to keep funding coming in. And so I reached out to Jared, and Jared was like, well, you know, let's essentially paraphrase him, but, you know, Jared's like, let's go big or go home. And so yeah, so we, you know, had a meeting, worked out perfectly, spoke with the co-founders on ground in Ghana, as well as actually my friend she just arrived 2-3 days ago. She's now in Ghana as well. And so we're looking at developing additional digital assets, curriculum, and doing some hybrid development of websites and app development for this village. And so beyond that, we're sort of looking at ways to bring internet access to the entire village, looking at things around like infrastructure as relates to electricity and energy and things like that. And so, you know, Jared's my go-to guy. And so I called him and I was like, hey, let's jump on this. And so that's one of the things that we're working on to really kick off 2020.
Wonderful.
Then I'll just close with just an open invitation for anybody checking out the interview. This upcoming January the 14th and the 15th, I'll be out at the what is that? Excuse me.
Washington.
Yeah, I'm sorry. For the Washington Elite, I'll be receiving my first award in regards to human trafficking prevention and suicide prevention down in Miami. It'll be at the Versace Mansion building, and I have all the information up on social media. We'll put it up on collar.io. But that'll be something that we'll be doing. It possibly may be some great people there. I can't say everything right now. Now I understand when they say, like, don't say all this stuff, but it's important. So if you can't come, check it out. We'll stream it live just in case you can't, and we'll be doing some nice fundraising that'll go to some real nice initiatives around the world. And it'll be an after party as well, too, for just the folks that just want to come and turn up and still network with some power players.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta have the turn up after. I mean, well,
it's a must.
Yeah, everybody, that marks the end of the interview today. My name is Neil Thompson. I am the founder of Teach the Geek. It's an online platform for science and engineering professionals. The first offering is a public speaking course that's called Teach the Geek to Speak. To learn more about it, you can go to teachthegeek.com. Again, that is teachthegeek.com. Until next time, take care. Take it easy, Jared and Nick.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.